The elders of Ogbunike village used to say, never answer a voice that calls your name at night, unless you are ready to follow it forever. But little Chinidu didn't know that. Or maybe he did, and it was already too late. Chinidu was just 13 years old, a quiet boy, obedient, the kind that never caused trouble. He lived with his mother, Adiz, in a small mud house at the edge of the village, close to the forest. Since his father died mysteriously 3 years ago, it had just been the two of them, and everything was fine, until the night Chinidu first heard his name. Chinidu. It came like a whisper, soft, gentle, almost like his mother's voice. He turned in his sleep. Chinidu, come outside. His eyes opened, but not fully, not like someone who is awake. Something else had opened them. The next morning, Jesus, his mother screamed. Chinidu stood in front of her, confused. Mama, what happened? She grabbed his arm. Where did you go last night? I didn't go anywhere. But the bruises on his body told a different story. Scratches ran across his back. His feet were muddy, and his fingernails were filled with black soil, like he had been digging. I was sleeping, Mama. I swear. She stared at him. Long. Too long. Then she whispered, something is wrong. That night, she locked the door, bolted it, and made Chinidu sleep beside her. If you move, I will know, she said. Chinidu nodded. But deep down, he felt something watching him, waiting. Midnight. The wind outside stopped. The crickets went silent. And then, Chinidu. His eyes opened again. That same strange feeling. That same pull. Come, Chinidu. He slowly sat up. His mother was asleep. Or maybe she wasn't. But she didn't move. Chinidu stood, walked to the door. The bolt slid open by itself, and the door creaked, slowly, like it was being invited. Outside, the village was empty, dark, but the forest was alive. And the voice came again. Come. Chinidu walked, barefoot, straight into the forest. Branches scratched his skin, thorns pierced his feet, but he didn't feel anything. He just kept walking, like something was pulling him, calling him, owning him, deeper and deeper, until he reached a clearing. And there, he stopped. There was a woman standing there, tall, still, her back facing him, her hair, long and unnatural, dragging on the ground like roots. Chinidu, she whispered. His lips trembled. Mama? She slowly turned. And that was when Chinidu realized. That was not his mother. Her face was wrong, too stretched. Her smile too wide. Her eyes, black, completely black. Come closer, she said. And Chinidu obeyed. Back in the house, Adiz's eyes snapped open. She sat up, cold sweat dripping down her face. Chinidu. She turned, and saw the empty space beside her. Her heart dropped. No, no, no. She ran outside, the door wide open, the forest silent. Chinidu. Her voice echoed, but nothing answered. Back in the clearing, the woman touched Chinidu's face. You've grown, just like your father. Chinidu blinked slowly. My father? She smiled wider. He didn't listen either. Suddenly, Chinidu screamed. Morning came, and the villagers gathered, because Chinidu had been found. Near the edge of the forest, unconscious, covered in deeper wounds, marks that looked almost like fingers, burned into his skin. When he woke up, he couldn't speak, just stared, shaking. The village priest was called, Old Man Nana, a man who had seen things people didn't speak of. He examined Chinidu quietly. Then he said, He has answered the night. What does that mean? Adiz cried. The old man looked at her. Grave. It means something has claimed him. That night, they performed a cleansing ritual. Fire, chants, protection. But as the priest spoke, Chinidu began to laugh. Not like a child, not like himself. The fire flickered wildly. The wind rose suddenly. And then, Chinidu spoke. But it wasn't his voice. He belongs to me. The villagers froze. Adiz collapsed, crying. Leave my son alone. The voice laughed again. Too late. Suddenly, Chinidu's body lifted slightly off the ground. His eyes, completely black. The priest shouted, Do not answer when it calls again, no matter what you hear. Everything went silent. Then, Chinidu dropped. Days passed, and things seemed normal again. Too normal. Until one night, Adiz heard it. Chinidu. She froze, her heart pounding. Then, another voice. Mama. It was Chinidu, crying, begging. Mama, help me. Tears filled her eyes. My son. She stood up, walked toward the door. The priest's warning echoed in her head. Do not answer. But the voice, her son's voice, was breaking. Mama, please. Her hand touched the door, and slowly, she opened it. Outside, nothing, just darkness. Then, right behind her, a whisper. You answered. Adi's scream tore through the night. The next morning, the villagers found the house empty. No sign of Adi's. No sign of Chinidu. Only one thing remained. On the wall, written in something dark, something that looked like blood. We called, and they came. And from that day on, in Ogbunike village, if you hear your name at night, you ignore it. Because if you answer, you might not belong to yourself anymore. This is Mitch Tales.